Chapter 6 Mike. I woke up around 11:20 or something. I guess I didn't set an alarm, so now I had to get up and get out as soon as possible. The drive towards Freddy's tonight was fine. Once I got closer to the restaurant, I saw some strange activity at the school. The lights were on. They're not normally on this late. What made it even more strange were the cop cars outside. I could see caution tape on doors too. What the hell happened here between the time I was here, or I was there, and now? I didn't have time to stop and ask questions, though. I had to get at Freddy's. I drove down the road for a little while before coming across a figure standing in the road. It was dark at first, but as I got closer, my car's headlights revealed a small childlike figure wearing an orange shirt with what I assumed was a hook. I tried to stop the moment I saw what it was, but I was too late. What was strange was that I didn't feel a bump. I looked around to try and find the kid, but I saw absolutely nothing. I must be hallucinating, because I swear I saw that kid. One thing I definitely had to do was get to Freddy's. I pulled into the parking lot once more and noticed something else unordinary. Another car was there. Thoughts raced through my mind of what could be happening here right now. Did someone break in? Is there currently a robbery taking place at the place I'm supposed to be watching over? I parked the car and got out as quickly as possible, running towards the doors. The lock on the door was broken. Something bad was definitely happening. I opened the doors and ran inside. Some of the lights were on, so I didn't really need my flashlight. "Hey, who's in here?" I called out. I got a response, shockingly. "Don't worry, it's just me," a voice called out from towards the stage area. It sounded familiar. I headed towards the stage area, and that's when I saw Henry on Foxy's stage. The curtains were slightly closed, so I only saw him in gap. "Henry? What are you doing here so late?" "I just came to check on the animatronics to make sure they're in good working condition, since we might use them when I reopen the place." That felt like a reasonable response, but the way he said it made me suspicious of something. I didn't bother asking yet, though. "Okay, so what's going on with the school? Do you know?" I decided to ask if he knew anything about what happened at the school that resorted and all the commotion outside of it. "I don't know much about it, but I was driving here when I saw it and decided to check out what was happening. I asked an officer, and he said that there was some kind of murder there." Henry sounded nervous. "It's like some part of that was a lie, but I couldn't identify what part." "Oh, I hope they find out who did it." Henry got done with checking on Foxy and got down. "Yeah. I guess while I'm here, I could tell you about tonight's, shouldn't I?" "Might as well instead of calling me." Henry put down some of the cleaning supplies on a nearby party table. I guess he also cleaned the animatronic's fur while he's checking on them. "Well, tonight shouldn't be too different than last night. Just check the cameras, close the doors if needed, and be safe. Your task for tonight is just to clean up the bathrooms. Simple and easy. Judging by how clean out here is, you clearly found where the cleaning closet is, so I don't need to tell you where that is." "Yeah, so that's all for tonight? I could do that." "Thanks, Mike. I'll talk to you tomorrow night if we don't run into each other at some point." Henry began walking out of the restaurant, leaving me alone with the animatronic characters. I began walking down the hall to the office so I could set my stuff down before heading towards the cleaning closet to grab what I might need to clean the bathrooms. You know, a spray bottle, a mop, possibly a broom. I walked over towards the bathroom area and prepared myself for whatever was to come in there. Fortunately, the men's room didn't seem so bad, just a few cobwebs and dusty things. For a family restaurant, I'm shocked the bathroom is this clean, but that meant this would be pretty easy to clean. I started spritzing the mirrors with a spray bottle and wiping it down with a paper towel. Then I started the floor and mopped that up before moving towards the stalls. It just needed a bit of wiping down and it looked good as new. I repeated the process for each stall and moved on to the other bathroom where I repeated everything too. Once I was done with that, I grabbed my stuff and headed out of the bathrooms. I made my way down the dining room and towards the hall where the supply closet was located. I opened the door to the cleaning closet and was met, and when I opened the door to the cleaning closet when I was met with a little jump scare. I jolted back when I saw what was in there. Bonnie. What the hell was he doing in there? Or how did he even get there? He was just standing in the closet, which was actually a pretty big area for a closet. Might as well be a cleaning room. His dead eyes stared over my head as at nothing. He wasn't there when I first grabbed the stuff from there. He looked creepier under the dim light of the room. But now for the actual question. How did he get in there? Last I checked, they were shut off, not able to move anywhere. Bonnie couldn't just walk in here on his own. Nonetheless, I put the stuff back slowly so as to not bother the animatronic, and went back to the office to see if there was anything on the cameras, or if there was anything caught of Bonnie being moved there. The cameras didn't catch anything, though. They were apparently bugged during the time of me cleaning the bathrooms and me finding Bonnie in the closet. But they're working now. That was until some static blocked the screen for a second before coming back. What the hell? I said to myself. I flipped through his feeds to see what could have done that, and that's when I saw Bonnie standing in the middle of the hall leading towards the main room. The fuck? I was completely confused. Someone had to be in the building with me, and they're playing a prank on me. I grabbed my flashlight and walked out of the office. Bonnie, sure enough, still in the hall. Standing there was with a blank expression. Hey! Who's out there? I yelled out. Obviously, if someone was actually here, they wouldn't call back since they wouldn't want to be caught, but it is still worth a try. I walked past the animatronic and headed towards the employee hallway that led to the main entrance. It seemed dark and dusty, like this hall hadn't been taken care of when this place was open. It felt like such a different place in contrast to the rest of the building. Even the halls to the office were still more vibrant than this. Nothing was in this hall, though, not a sign of anyone else. I turned back around and made my way back to the dining room. Still not a soul. Hell, there wasn't any sign of anyone breaking in either. I went back to the office and sat down in my chair once more. It was nearing 3 in the morning, so I knew I had only 3 hours more until I could head home. I'm shocked that 3 hours just flew by like that. But I guess it took a decent amount of time cleaning the bathrooms. I had plenty of time on my hands, though, as I don't think anything really happens here, so maybe another nap will do. I just assumed Henry would have accidentally flipped its switch or something and left it on when he was checking on the animatronics. Judging by how they have knee joints, I assumed they were able to walk around during the day, so maybe Bonnie's programming thought the pizzeria was open and decided to go for a stroll around for a bit. I dozed off once more in the office. I awoke from my slumber a few hours later. It was 6 a.m. already, so that was my cue to go to get my stuff and head home. But the moment I tried moving my right arm, it felt stiff, like it had swollen or had a lot of pressure put onto it. I didn't know what caused this. I just assumed I slept on it funny. It'll probably go away later. I just grabbed my stuff and made my way out of the office. First thing I noticed was that Bonnie was missing. He was no longer in the hall where I last saw him. I left the employee halls and entered the main dining room where I wanted to check the stage, just to be sure Bonnie was still there. As I approached the red curtains, I peeled it back a little bit, and sure enough, Bonnie was on stage with the other animatronics. He looked like he had never even left the stage. I left the stage area and made my way back out the building. The drive to the mall was at least peaceful, except for my hurting arm. I still had no idea what was causing it. At least I could depend on a nice breakfast at the mall. 20 minutes in traffic was still the same as ever. Just people getting to work or going to breakfast. In my case, I'm leaving work and getting breakfast. That's where me and them are different in this situation. I made my way towards the mall anyway and pulled into the parking lot. I used to have a spot that was my spot, but it was an employee-only thing. Now I just have to find newer parking spots. Once inside, I headed for the best breakfast place in town and got in line to order my usual. Once I was able to get it, I sat down and started eating away. About halfway through my meal, I saw Jeremy approaching me. I'm shocked he left his office to come talk with me. I nodded to him once he got closer. My mouth was so full I couldn't really say anything just yet. Hey, Mike. His face showed some kind of concern or fear. I hope everything was alright. Hey, are you okay? You seem stressed or something. I finally punched out some words after I swallowed what I had eaten in my waffle. Jeremy sat down across from me and looked like he was about to tell me I was fired again. I'm just a little stressed out, and I'm hoping you know something about this. I had a feeling he was going to ask me about what happened at the school last night, which I had no knowledge of besides seeing cops outside. Do you know what happened at the school? I do, but I'm just curious if you have any more information than what I was told. No. I just know that there were cops outside because I had to drive there on my way to work I had to drive by there on my way to work last night. I grabbed my soda and took a sip of it. Oh, well, do you want to hear what happened? I've had outside sources tell me what happened. Sure, why not? I grabbed another bite of my waffle and began listening. Well, according to someone, the school janitor was apparently murdered in a building, last night between, 8 and 9. This wasn't just the kind of thing where it was like a stab or a gunshot. It was way more brutal. He had cuts all over his body. His right arm had animal-like teeth marks on it. And the worst of all, his head seemed to be split open like a hot dog bun. They say the victim was killed with some kind of saw blade or something, but it's still unknown what did those bite marks. Jeremy's description of the scene felt gruesome. I can imagine the school would be shut down for a week or something after that. Couldn't they check the cameras to see the killer? He had to have been caught on them, right? I asked after I swallowed another bite. It almost felt like the bite wanted to come back up, but I kept it down. They tried, but all they had was footage of the janitor cleaning the place and the janitor later dead. Everything in between on every camera was static. Jeremy's description almost made me think about how the cameras acted last night was the static. I don't think it's related in any way, but it's a big coincidence. Oh, that's weird. I hope they find who did it, though. Yeah, but anyways, how's your night? Anything interesting this time? Well, yeah, 2 things, actually. First one was that the rabbit animatronic was walking around during the night. I thought he was off, but the owner was there, and when I got there, so he could have turned it on and forgot to turn it off. The other thing was I woke up with a sore arm. It still feels stiff, and I don't know what caused it. I moved my right arm again, and sure enough, it's still stiff. Huh. Let me take a look at it. I used to be a doctor back in the day. Jeremy got up and I lent him my arm as he got ready to lift my sleeve. I still remember working when a family came rushing in with a kid on a stretcher. That little man's brains were basically spilling out. I still call that the darkest thing that I had to ever see in that hospital. As if a light bulb went off in my head, the memory came back. That day he was talking about was the day my brother died. I remember running alongside the stretcher behind my dad. Even though I messed around with him, I still loved him. And I didn't actually want to harm him. Blood soaked the seat that my brother's dying body rested on. That was indeed the day my family's relationship went to hell. My dad hated me, my mom hated my dad. The only thing that didn't hate anyone was my sister, but she didn't hold the family together for long. Oh jeez. I tried to act like that wasn't my fault and I wasn't there at all. Anyways, let's see what's going on with your arm. He had kept lifting up my sleeve to my shoulder. What I saw confused me. A big purple bruise mark from my elbow to halfway away from my wrist. I still had no idea how that got there, though. Woo! That's one fine bruise you got there. Jeremy squished my arm to see if there was anything on the inside that was wrong. Your bones feel fine. You must have just rested on it wrong or something. Well, sleeping in an office chair isn't exactly comfortable. Well, there's our guess of what happened. You just slept on it wrong. It does look like this was caused by some kind of force or pressure, so you probably squished it between your body and the arm of the chair. I know I woke up with my arm hanging off the top of the chair, but I could have moved it in my sleep. Well, thanks, Doctor, I jokingly replied. My arm will probably get better by tonight at least. Jeremy got a chuckle out of my joke, and before looking at his watch. He noticed the time and had to get back to doing whatever he was doing while in his office. Well, it's been a nice chat, but now I've got to get back to work. I'll see you sometime later. He waved and headed off towards the office. I decided to stick around the mall and have a little walk around, seeing if there's anything interesting worth buying. I've got no better way to spend my day, so why not? I walked around the semi-busy mall, looking at the different stores located about. The scent of those stores with candles or scented things wafted by as I passed. It only added to the mixed sense of the mall. I stopped at a collectible store and decided to stop in just to check it out. "Good morning, sir. Here to add something to a collection?" A friendly desk clerk waved with a smile as he spoke. He wore a green vest over a white shirt and tie that was ever so slightly crooked. His hair looked as if he had just woken up, and his face showed it too. "Oh, just checking out what's in store." I smiled back a bit and began looking around the store. I gazed across multiple colorful shelves full of toys and collectibles. Some of these things I remember seeing commercials for when I was a kid. Nothing piqued my interest, though, so I kept exploring. I passed by posters, small collectible plus, and other trinkets of many kinds. Still, nothing interesting. That was until I came to a small back section of the small store. It was mostly filled with old brand and company merch, one of which included a poster from Fazbear's. It was just a simple poster with kids watching the stage show with the logo at the bottom, but I decided to take it. It was kind of hard to find Fazbear's merch anymore since most of it was taken by Henry for storage at Fazbear Entertainment. Hell, even the animatronics can't be found anymore. The last notice of one of the suits was during the missing children's incident, and that was it. I took the poster, brought it to the register, and placed it on the table. "Ah, the Fazbear's Family Diner poster. Do you have a collection of Fazbear or Fazbear merch?" The clerk started a low conversation as he took the poster to scan it. "No, I don't have a collection. I just saw this poster and felt like taking it since I was the son of one of the owners." "Oh, neato. How are they doing?" The clerk scanned the poster. My dad went missing years ago. I'm still in contact with the other owner, though, and he's doing fine." I glanced around the room of other collectibles and stuff. I took notice of posters of classic games like Pac-Man and Galaga, but none of them really piqued my interest as much as this poster did. "Oh, well, I'm sorry about your dad." He started putting the poster into a bag before typing in the numbers of the price on the register. "Thanks." I watched him as he put the bag on the counter. $12.59, he asked. I pulled out a wallet from my pocket and started shuffling through the money and calculating the prices in my head. I handed the clerk the amount of money I owed and took the bag. "Thank you. Have a nice day," he said with a smile. I waved back and left the store, back into the slowly getting busier mall. There wasn't much else that I wanted to do, so I decided now was a good time to head home. Once I got home, I parked my car and gathered my stuff before going inside. I set down some of my stuff on the kitchen counter and plopped down onto my couch. Then the phone rang. I groaned as I got back up and picked it up. "Hello, Mike?" Henry's voice rang from the other side. "Yeah? What's up, Henry?" "I just wanted to call now and check in on you. How was last night?" A sense of nervousness shone through Henry's voice. Something troubled him. "It was fine. I woke up with a sore arm, but I just slept on it funny." "You slept?" A sense of caution formed in Henry's voice. "Mike, I need you to promise me something. Never sleep at Freddy's." I felt a little guilty. "Why? It's not like anyone's going to rob the place." "No one wants anything from a dusty old children's restaurant." Henry cut me off before I could finish my sentence. "I'm not worried about the intruders. I'm more worried about you. Sleeping at Freddy's can be dangerous for you, and I need you to stay awake and alert at all times." A sigh came from the other side of the phone. "Listen, the animatronic characters walk around at night. It's not unnatural, though. They've always had a free roam mode, and we never figured out how to shut it off, so they tend to wander around without notice. I need you to keep them out of the office so you don't get hurt by them bumping into you or them breaking themselves on something. We're going to need as much of them as possible for the rebrand. I guess that explained why Bonnie was in different locations last night. Alright, I'll try to keep an eye out tonight. Good. The last thing we need is some kind of important thing being broken because an animatronic wandered somewhere it's not meant to be. By the way, they tend to wander around more as the week goes on, so don't be surprised if they show up more often. Okay, I'll make note of that. Good. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to be busy going over plans with the construction crew all day, so I won't contact you tonight. Alright, I'll talk to you tomorrow. He hung up and I was left to myself once more. I laid back down on the couch and thought about what Henry said. At least I got my answer to why Bonnie was moving around last night. Creepy how they just do that. Anyways, I need some sleep, so I let my dreams take me away once more, waiting to pass the time.